Another bounce back candidate is tight end Kyle Pitts. Pitts was being drafted sometimes as the tight end 1, tight end 2, tight end 3 last year. He's been the consensus dynasty tight end 1. But there are some red flags that happened last year. Aside from the injury, we saw pass volume really low for Atlanta. We saw rush volume very high. Also saw the emergence of Drake London. But Kyle Pitts was a target commander last year, 27% of the targets. And that's a massive amount for a tight end, even if it's a smaller pie. This is a dynamic player who doesn't just run tight end routes. He's not just an inline tight end. He acts like a wide receiver in most cases. So it's a question of, is the passing volume going to be enough to get Kyle Pitts into not just like tight end 5 or 6, because that's about where he's being drafted right now, but can he access the tight end 2 or 3?
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Whatever you want to say. Fool me 3 times, you know what? It's probably going to happen. It's probably going to happen. We're probably going to get fooled for a 3rd time and pretend like it never happened, right? It is what it is when it comes to Kyle Pitts, but I love hating on Kyle Pitts as much as anybody. It makes for good conversation because he really has 2 very polarizing views when it comes to fantasy. You either absolutely love him or you absolutely hate him, because in fantasy, we can't have nice things. Let's call it the way it is. And Arthur Smith isn't allowed nice things either, apparently. Now, the Pitts hive, it is real. You go out there and you say a bad word about Kyle Pitts, you're going to hear about it on Twitter. Good Lord, don't say anything about him on Reddit, okay? Just avoid Reddit when it comes to Kyle Pitts. But last season, tight end 31. Oh, man, that's bad. We talked about injuries there, missing those 5 games because of that MCL. He also played hurt in a few of them. But in 2023, he is going to be back on his way to prominence here. It was just a season ago when he caught over 50 passes for 1,000 yards. Now, Arthur Smith is not going to change who it is. You're not going to change the stripes of a tiger like Arthur Smith. But he's going to run the ball, and he's going to run the ball plenty. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if Bijan Robinson ends up with 300-plus touches when all is said and done. But remember, in Arthur Smith's offenses, it can be good for pass catchers. But you talk about volume on one side, volume's great. If you can get that volume, that is going to help you out. But if you can be efficient with the lack of volume, that can be just as good. Think Delanie Walker back in Tennessee with the Titans. A.J. Brown with the Tennessee Titans. Both were productive fantasy seasons at one point or another in this very same offense. They made the most of their opportunities. Kyle Pitts, we've seen that flash as a rookie, so we know that he can do that. If you look at Pitts' yards per route run as a wide receiver, he was averaging 2.73 yards per route run, which trailed only A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So we're not even talking about a tight end here. We're talking about a wide receiver that's allowed tight end designation. That's basically what it is, right? That's what Kyle Pitts is. Now, Robinson in the backfield and the Falcons' success running the ball is going to let them do all kinds of play action, which is going to catch all kinds of teams sleeping. You have to respect one of the best running games in the league, especially when they have the addition of a generational type back. People also forget that Ridder and Pitts, they never actually played together last season. When Ridder finally got in, when they finally gave up on the whole Marcus Mariota experiment, Pitts was hurt. So you give Ridder and Pitts a little bit of chemistry to work with here in the offseason through OTAs. That's got to pay off somewhere down the road.
Yeah, that you mentioned, they did not overlap. It's going to be a question of chemistry for Kyle Pitts to be able to get back into it. But this is still, you mentioned unicorn earlier with Darnell Washington. I think this is a totally different type of unicorn prospect profile.
This is Kyle Pitts is the unicorn that you imagine from My Little Pony, rainbow hair and all cute. Darnell Washington's like the unicorn from Shazam, the big black stallion, the big horn, like the Clydesdale looking thing. That's what Darnell Washington is. Put on Shazam, put on My Little Pony. Those are your 2 unicorns that we're looking at. One is magical and one is a beast.